Hello, welcome. It is the Daily Life Extra here on Monday. The start of the season awaits us, and Everton have played their final pre-season game.
Is it the final pre-season game?
Well, there might be another game this week, but it's not. It'll be a behind closed doors, so
okay.
it'll only be a fitness exercise to get players fitter, if they do have one. If they do have one,
more match fit.
Yeah, just to get a few more players up to speed. What did you think of Saturday, John?
They were okay, weren't they?
Yeah, they were a good side.
Yeah, I mean, they finished fourth? Is that Champions League for them? They're playing the Champions League, weren't they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so Champions League team seemed a bit sharper than us, I think.
Mm.
I don't know whether that was fitness or just technically better. Probably a bit of both, I suppose. But we didn't seem too troubled, did we?
No, I think they were a technically better side.
Yeah, I mean, for a while they dominated, didn't they?
They
Really.
cut us open a few times in the first half.
Yeah. But it was just a pre-season game, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't an intense one.
No.
Clearly, DCL's way off. Yeah. Branthwaite looked a bit relaxed. Is that a nice way of putting it? Relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing to see really, was there?
Yeah,
I mean, Ashley Young looked. He's going to start obviously because Mick's not ready. Tark looked like his limp was getting less as he got across the pitch, so hopefully that was a good sign.
Hopefully,
because it just shows you how fragile we are. That just one player dropping out, and you know.
That's the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. It's when people start going, oh, he can play there and he can play there and he can play there. Well, what happens if he's injured, and you got a situation on Saturday where the manager's just come out and said Dominic Calvert-Lewin won't start, and then people say, well, Dan Juma will start. Well, we don't even know if Dan Juma is available. Well, Dwight McNeil's not available, so who plays on the left hand side?
Yeah,
and suddenly the people who are supposed to be filling the gaps can't even fill the gaps. And that's where people, I think, are a little bit worried about the situation we're in with our squad size, which clearly needs sorting out in the next few weeks.
It does. The manager's a bit funny. I mean, I don't know I didn't see it, but I saw something on social media about him saying, "You've asked me to be honest, and I'm being honest." Well, being honest is, why isn't DCL ready? Yeah, it's not just letting people think, well, he's got another 5 minutes under his belt. We're all feeling optimistic, and then the manager says, well, he won't be playing next week, though.
Yeah, the manager is brutally honest to the point of he doesn't really say anything. Sometimes, he told the journalist after the game that there was nothing close on the transfer front,
which is clearly not true.
It's not true because Chermiti's going to come in this week.
Maybe he thinks Chermiti's done, therefore.
Well, maybe, yeah. Maybe that's the first thing he should have said. But no, it was interesting, wasn't it? Because obviously it was an interesting lineup in terms of Ben Godfrey started.
Yeah. I mean, that we'll all read between the lines what that means for Michael Keane, won't we?
Well, Michael Keane obviously was the last one to come on for obviously Tarkowski. And who knows if he would have come on if Tarkowski would have got injured. It's an interesting one. I just don't think Ben
Michael just has that smirk he had when he said, Italy, when he thought Cologne was in Italy. He just has that smirk that says, but I'm never injured. I just have to bide my time. Yeah. These guys will all make room for me, But, I mean, there's 3 weeks of a window left, isn't it, or whatever it is. Yeah. But squad depth is an issue.
Of course it is, and it's going to be especially when like the likes of January comes around, the African nations. So
you lose some
already
players.
A stretched time of the year, and you're going to lose 3 players potentially. So that's obviously the main issue at the moment. I just start with this comment because I know a few people have took umbrage with this. Ian Spencer's afternoon chaps. All opinions, as they say, but completely disagree with Ped on Branthwaite. He won everything and looked solid. Give us a balance using left foot as well. Must start on Saturday for me. He's definitely ready. He didn't win everything. I'm telling you that right now. He didn't win everything. From where I was sitting and the people around me said,
"You're in the main stand, yeah."
I was in the press box. Few people even said around me, he looked. I was watching him intently. And by the way, don't take this as me slagging him off. I really like Branthwaite and I would start him. What I was saying after the match was just a couple of times I noticed him. He was always scanning, always looking really good. But there was just a few moments. Now, listen, don't forget, this is only his second 45 minutes plus the training game in the week.
Which none of us saw,
There's
really.
clearly a lot. There's clearly a lot to go. There's clearly a lot for him to learn and a lot for him to develop. I saw a couple of little moments where I thought to myself he could improve there. And against Premier League players, he still looks light to me as well. He still looks like he could get bullied
Physically.
Physically.
Yeah. Well, they're 9. Was it the 9? He was a big strapping lad.
Well, that was Thingo, wasn't he? How do you pronounce his name, Ned? Yeah, thanks, Ned. Gyökeres, yeah. Gyökeres. The kid from Coventry, obviously.
Yeah.
He looked really big. I've never actually seen him
that's
look that big before, by the way. But he's a big lad, and obviously Mitrovic, if he starts on Saturdays, all that noise is calmed down about him leaving is similar. So the physical side, I still think he still needs, because I do think he gives up a lot when he's physical. But out of the three of them, I would play Branthwaite because they all lack something. The difference is Branthwaite can learn it.
Yeah, well, Godfrey had the physicality, but not a lot else.
Well, that's what the manager might be thinking. He might be thinking against the likes of Mitrovic and certainly the likes of Jimenez, who's come in at Fulham. If he starts, then that physical side of the game will be needed. I still think Branthwaite just looks a little bit. Don't get me wrong, he's tall, but I still think he needs to.
He's very slight.
Yeah, he needs to. When you look at like Tarky like a tree.
Yeah,
and that's what worried me when he went down, because he never goes down like that. So yeah, he's got stuff to learn, and I was just pointing that out. That's all I was doing, was just pointing that out. By no means was he. It was absolutely 100%, but his passing's good. He'll take risks because he is a good passer, and he's got his head on a swivel. But there was just a few little things that I think will.
Well, you asked me before we went live, so obviously the comments have made you think, "Ooh, was it just me?
Yeah.
Or was it just you lot in that bit of the stand, whatever?" And the way I replied to him was, he seemed very relaxed. Yeah. And maybe he's just one of these players who he has it's not competitive head, and that will impact the manager, because the manager obviously believes everything he's done over the last 10-15 years is you're fully on it every time, but I would start him as well.
I would.
I just think as fans we would have to recognise that you are right, and therefore there's a mistake there with a wily old, Premier League player who may take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been there before with John Stones. But he was slight. He had a mistake in him. He could play football, but he was also competitive as well.
I think you're right what you just said there about being switched. He does always look, Branthwaite always does look a little bit relaxed. He might need to get that little bit of intensity into his game. And
you only get that by playing in the Premier League, which is the most intense league in the world.
A little bit. Yeah. And we saw that. I think we saw that in his last performance at Goodison when we went up against Brentford. When he got sent off, there was just, again, it's a demeanour rather than an attitude. It's just, I think he's just got to get that little bit of fire in his belly. But
that demeanour is exactly what John Stones had.
Yeah.
Which was, I'm all right. I can do Cruyff turns in the box. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It's what your teammates trust, in partnerships, and that's why talk's so important, because he's probably the only one who Branthwaite will learn from.
Yeah,
because he talks non-stop. He'd be telling him, coaching him, and so on. Keane has too much to look after himself to be helping anyone else. And Godfrey just always has his head down, doesn't he, and looking for the next fight, really.
Yeah.
So the physicality bit. So when it comes to it, be interesting to see what happens, because the manager might think, I'd rather have the physicality, to be honest, and the athleticism of Godfrey and the finesse of Branthwaite, we call it, that can wait to another day.
Yeah, it's Godfrey's pace as well, isn't it? That's the key thing.
Yeah,
that's the key thing.
If it's still there, yeah.
I mean,
I'm not sure all
that
of
has been.
There.
I don't know, but you're
I'm
right.
not sure of all of it's there.
Yeah, but it's certainly more than Michael Keane's got.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, what we saw, I think, is what the reality is. Out of the four of them, he's number 4.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
It certainly does. But then he'll have that little Ned smirk that says, "But I'm never injured."
I suppose it's but that's the thing, though, isn't it? I suppose that's what footballers learn. Certainly, he's 30 or 29, 30 as well. So he's probably thinking, I'm very settled. I'm on good wages. I've got a decent contract. And I know I'll get games because I'm never injured, and these are always getting themselves into injuries or scrapes. And he's got that level of consistency, whether you like it or not. I mean, it's not top consistency, but it is like a level of consistency with the manager. And go, well, I know you can play certain games.
Well, it's interesting because I just think because if he's always got something in him to make a mistake, panics a little bit, if you want a bit strong word that maybe. But as a squad player, as number 4, the guy who comes on when you're defending the lead, we'd all go, oh, great, Michael's coming on, sort of thing. But starting him would just...
Yeah, that sends the wrong message as well.
I mean, that would show where we're at in it's not recruitment even, it's development of that position, isn't it? And recruitment's part of it, but we've known for a long time that Branthwaite can come back. We presumably watched him playing in high-intensity games in the Champions League, so we must know whether he's ready or not. Yeah. And if he's ready or not, and he's just inexperienced, he's got to go in, hasn't he? He's got to go in, because you don't get it anywhere other than on the field. Yeah. You really don't.
No.
So hopefully we'll hear talks all right.
Well, if they do have something this week, I imagine Branthwaite will take part in that, so will Dominic Calvert-Lewin get more legs, get more in the legs. But attack him on Saturday, again, wasn't great, was it? Having Iwobi on one side and James Garner on the other it takes something obviously away from... Iwobi was on the left-hand side, wasn't he? He takes something away from Young's not going to bomb up and down the left-hand side all day. Passes inside too, but...
It was shallow, mate.
There's so much to do.
The further you get away from the goalkeeper up the field, the more the need is.
Yeah.
And Dom was being cautious, obviously, bedding himself in. And it wasn't just the 45 minutes. There wasn't a lot he did in it other than jog around, I suppose. But again, you've got to be in competitive games to get that edge. So if he's physically fit, I'm not quite getting the manager. He already knows he's not starting or he's not playing. What did he say? He said something about the programme. So they must have a programme that says you've got to have done this before you start. And clearly he hasn't done it yet. So that implies... We've only just seen him because he wasn't ready, So they have to be cautious. But we've been here before with DCL.
Yeah, you've got to be careful, haven't you?
You have got to be careful. But if you're careful for 2 months and then he breaks down as soon as you go in, that's 2 months you've wasted in my book. Yeah, because it seems to be something that's not easy to spot on scans or the player saying I feel okay or I don't. It only shows when it's actually competitive. So. You just got to give him a classic fitness test, and if he passes it, throw him in.
Maybe that's the problem, though. Maybe that's to asking a player whether he's all right. They'll always say yeah most of the time, won't they?
Or no, as the case may be.
Yeah.
If you mentally, after particularly the traumas he's had over the last couple of years of breaking down and stuff, he might want everything to be absolutely perfect.
Just got to get some of this with a few people last night, and it's a case of. We've got to get someone in, haven't we, now? To obviously we know that's not rocket science, but it is got to be that case of having someone available for, it might be a case that he plays 2 games and then you leave him out for the third, and then you have that person to go in, and
that's how you build him up.
Yeah,
because if it is stress, I don't mean mental stress, but stress related in the sense of the intensity of 2 games, he needs a rest sort of thing just to recoup. You've got to have someone who can go and do the job without changing the style of play and all that sort of stuff. And whether the Sporting lads can do that, I don't know, but he's less experienced than Branthwaite. So again, you would think as part of the negotiations, he's got a clue that he's going to play.
You imagine, coming into such a small squad, you imagine that he probably thinks he will get game time. I don't know how much choice he will have had in this transfer himself. But
Mopay looked absolutely fantastic, I thought. What did you think?
He looked all right. He looked fine within himself. If that makes any sense. He's not.
He's enthusiastic.
He run around a bit and he
doesn't last long though, does it?
Doesn't suit the style of play whatsoever.
But it doesn't last long though, does it?
No.
His urgency lasted about 10 minutes, and then he thought, nah, okay.
Well, the one player who did,
he needs to go somewhere where they'll make use of him properly. So
Italy. The one player who did stand out was Onana, who I thought had
Oh.
a particularly very good game. And
He did.
if he could, he was very unlucky not to score. Obviously, hitting the
What
post.
a goal that would have been.
Yeah. But if he could show that this season and grab hold of the mantle, that could certainly help us drive us forward from what seen a little bit of it last week at Stoke. Certainly seen it on Saturday. But if he's ready to now take games on and feels like, don't know, maybe feels
Did a lot more ball
settled.
carrying than he's done before.
Pace as well.
It's
There's
amazing, isn't
one
it?
in the first half on the left hand side, and he just ran away from their whole team.
And he didn't look like he was running fast, did
No.
he? Because he's so tall. It's just, so it's deceptive, But it's a shame because it would have been a great finish for him for the goal.
Yeah, the goal would have been would have been fantastic. But he looks ready, like he's ready to take on the Premier League and ready. It's he's had the pre-season, first season where he's had the full pre-season with the club and knows exactly what. Played the games already, got last year's legs in him, and hopefully he can be that big player, because obviously certainly in the middle of the park it's going to be diminishing returns for Garner. I think you're going to see him come off a lot of games after 65 minutes. I think 70 minutes. James Garner, manager likes him, seems to trust him, but can he get hold of the game in the middle of the park? The core wasn't really that.
He wasn't on it, was he?
He wasn't really on it on Saturday, but Onana certainly looks the one to drive us forward.
He does.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see.
The rest of them were just bit part players.
Yeah, Pickford made...
My missus said, "What's Gomez doing here?"
No. Pickford made a really good save in the first half.
He did.
Just after their keeper had made a double save.
Yeah.
But apart from that, there wasn't loads.
Nah.
There wasn't loads, and yeah. But it's week before the season, isn't it?
Well, 20 minutes out, both sides decided, right, no one's getting injured now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Someone had told.
That didn't come out great, but for us, did it? But they started giving people space, didn't they? Then. So.
James Warland says, thought for 40 minutes we missed out on Gyökeres. Movement was fantastic. Bringing Godfrey out with running in behind and Tarkowski. Then the second half happens, and thought Tarky and Branthwaite kept them quiet. Don't know if they are behind them pre-season, but they look like they lost their legs towards the end of the game. Going to be brilliant player for them in Portugal. Still not sure if he's a Premier League player quality yet. Would walk into our squad though. Yeah, I think he'd walk into our squad, but I don't think we were paying 20 million for him.
No.
He's a big lad. I didn't realise
I didn't realise it. It did not look that big. Maybe it's the hoops or something, but he didn't look that big on the telly when he was playing here, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. He did.
But their fitness level should be the same as ours, because their season starts exactly at the same time. Again, it starts on Friday.
I suppose it's what the different people have different prep, don't they? Some managers like to ease teams and almost peak at different times, where I think Sean Dyche's philosophy is we need to be on it all season. If we're certainly, and also if there's going to be an extra 10 minutes going to be tagged onto games.
He's chaff sometimes.
They have to be. I watched the Sheffield Wednesday game on Friday night just to see, and it was 6 minutes first half, 10 minutes second half, and I know Varane's put a
whinge on
social media today, and yeah, I mean, I do have.
I haven't.
I do. No, I do, John. Because I think it's a nonsense. I just think this timekeeping's an absolute.
Oh,
nonsense.
sorry. I'm talking about Varane saying it's like mental and physical health is a danger for players because of all this. Don't
you think we're pushing them too far? Though,
absolutely not. No.
Oh, I do, John. I think it's the schedule's nonsense. Man City. I know people go, well, but I was thinking about it before. Man City have got to play the Super Cup, the World Club Championships, and still try and win their trophies. And now that people go, well, that's the price for success.
But okay, let's do it this way. I think I'm talking about Premier League, right? The rest of it, in some respects, is down to FIFA, UEFA, whatever, isn't it? You got the extension of the Champions League, which is a farce as well. oh yes, it's all more encompassing and stuff like that, but it just means more games.
Yeah.
But then you look at some of the elite managers, and perhaps Pep and Klopp are both cut from the same cloth. They bitch and whinge about players. They get their wish for 5 subs and then really use them. Yeah. So when it comes to it, if you turn around to Varane and say, well, tell you what, mate, how's about you play less minutes, you get paid less money as well? Oh, no, actually, I want to be paid more money for less games. So, I don't know. I think it's one of those. It's binary, innit? You're either on one side of the fence or the other. And maybe I'm just on the side that's seduced by these guys are paid huge amounts of money. They have the best of everything. And other sports play, particularly impact sports, play far more frequently than they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Like which ones?
Rugby league. Yeah, there you go.
Do they?
Yeah. They only play once a week, but it's physically different, right? They don't have all the advantages. They don't have all the medics.
I just wonder how...
Oh, look at NFL in the States.
They only play 5 months.
Yeah, well, but during that period, it's about intensity, not length, isn't it? And there's recovery times. Baseball, what about them? They play 2-3 times a bloody week, for crying out loud. Rounders.
Sitting down half the time.
I just think we hear this, and I struggle with.
Where does it stop though?
Where does what
stop?
No,
where does it all stop though? That's the point, isn't it? It's like, where does it stop? You're adding real time onto games now, so there's going to be an extra 15 minutes a game, and the players at the top end are playing all these competitions, and then what you said before was absolutely right. UEFA are asking them to do more. FIFA are asking them to do more. And I get your point about
what's time added on for?
It's added on for apparently subs and like goals, but when you think about it, players are not getting like a physical rest, are they, during that time? They're getting like a minute of maybe a minute per 10 minutes maybe to jog.
Elite levels of fitness are all about recovery time.
It is, yeah.
Right, and a minute's a long time to recover.
No,
anyway, where I was going with this is if players stopped time wasting, right? If players started taking throw-ins quicker, if players started taking free kicks quicker, and all you got left with was substitutions and goals, it wouldn't be 10 minutes, would it?
On that though,
it wouldn't be 10 minutes, would it? It'd be
I
or three.
Think a lot of that is like when they say the time wasting or not taking free kicks properly,
or whatever.
Well, I take your point.
Yeah.
Well, what do people want is, so let's just say we got a free kick, right? And our player put it down, and you, as an attacking, you want your player to line it up properly, have your plays in the right. You don't want them to just kick it into the box, do you?
That's
and the same with throws. You want them to go. If Everton just go and they lose the possession, I just think it. I think it's.
You've never berated the opposition.
No, I have.
Goalkeeper when he's time wasting.
But that is time wasting, and I understand that.
That's part of it. Yeah.
And for me, that is a yellow card, and then go and give them another yellow card if they do it a second time.
Yeah.
I just think they're making a mountain out of an absolute molehill.
Oh, I agree with that bit.
And I just think,
and it's coming down from FIFA UEFA, isn't it? Who's suddenly decided they're not playing enough minutes. I mean, I said to my missus, this is potentially, in my little small world, this is leading to, I think, oh, well, the way to deal with it, because you've just said it, they're not getting a rest. So let's have 4 quarters instead of 2 halves with a break at the end of each quarter. And let's make them 25 minutes each or 20 minutes each, whatever. Yeah. And rather than just saying, you know what, why don't we run the clock properly and have 4 25-minute quarters with no added time at all? It's 25 minutes, full stop. Yeah. That's it.
See, this is where I've been saying about getting a proper clock in is for, because I just think for a manager to know the time.
That's the point. You've got to know.
You've got to know.
If you want to do something 5 minutes from the end, you've got to know
there's 5 minutes, not 15 minutes. You've got to know that. Yeah. If a player needs to come off, or a player wants, you've got to give someone an opportunity, or someone's come back from fitness or whatever. You've got to. That to me is what they need to start doing. They need to make it so that when there's no clock going up at the end saying there's 10 minutes left. I imagine for a player, and certainly as a fan, it's horrible. It's not.
And that's where the injuries come in those minutes.
Exactly. So
how about 20 minutes per quarter, 5 minutes break between quarter 1 and quarter 2, but you don't leave the field. A traditional half time after the end of quarter 2, and you don't stop the clock, you just play.
No.
There you go.
No. To me, it's just, I don't think it has to be that hard, John. I just think that it's dead simple. It's a watch, and it's a watch in the stadium.
But if that results in 10 minutes being added on, right? How does that help your argument that you think it's wrong?
No, there's two different arguments, to be honest.
Okay.
There's one where there's
you want transparency.
There's just too much football for me. I just think there's too much football.
I agree.
Everyone wants the cake. Everyone wants a piece of the cake. But then the other side on the timekeeping front, which is the other side of it, is there's just it's just nonsense. Have a clock. Stop it. No, when they go, well, then do it so everyone can see it. And when it hits 90 minutes, the game's finished. And everyone.
No, I'm with that one.
And if the game has gone on 10 minutes longer, that's fine. Yeah. But at least we're not sitting there going, "Oh, what's he going to add? You know, like the last game of the season, like the Bournemouth game. What's he going to add? Where's he got that from?" Well, we'd know where they got it from as well, because they'd go.
So you want independent timekeeping with it on the screen?
Yeah. I don't think it's that hard, and it'd be sponsored by Tag Heuer,
which some Hoya.
Yeah. Hoya, sorry, I'm not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But something that rugby league have had forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fans all know.
Exactly.
They all know when they count it down. 10, 9, it's all over. Yeah. But yeah, let's just short all that then down to let's have transparency around timekeeping.
Yeah.
But like many things in football, maybe Premier League football, but they all use FIFA, set the rules or whatever. I don't anyway, quite grasp why they haven't done it already. It's a bit like you would never know why decisions are made. Is it because they're scared of getting it wrong? I don't know.
I like it. Have you seen it in the Women's World Cup when the referee has to announce?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
that to me is brilliant.
Yeah,
they have to announce a bit like the NFL. They have to announce what the decision is.
Yeah,
that to me is brilliant.
Yeah, because it was offside against England. Was it offside? Yeah.
That's amazing.
I saw it last week. She just said offside. You might then disagree, but at least you know why.
That's amazing.
Why that referee made that decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny how FIFA, they'll do it in a women's game, but they won't do it in a men's game. Sexist bastards, aren't they?
Not go there.
Yeah. Well, they clearly are.
Afternoon, do you think we should send Okaranku or even Sheriff out on loan this summer? Was looking at Dom's path before he signed for us, and he played on loan in the Conference North at 17 and then League 2 for half a season as an 18-year-old. Would do them both a world of good, in my opinion. Okaranku seemed to mix it with the centre-backs at Bolton, even if he didn't necessarily win each battle. Better than playing against their own age in the under-21s. The problem is, it's dead simple saying send them. What if someone doesn't want them because they go, you're nowhere near ready. Yeah. You're physically not ready. You're not ready to. I mean,
they don't want to be a finishing school, and for us, do they?
And what if they?
Well, maybe they do.
But if they don't play, then you've just lost development.
But maybe the question is really counters what you just said. You find the level that they would get game time because they will be the best player or competitive, and if that's in the Conference North or whatever it's called, then that's where you place them. Yeah,
we're not sending them place.
I know we're not. That's the point, isn't it? Because they
send goalies.
They send the very valuable assets, don't they? And think you're going to get kicked all over the place, but it's not like that anymore.
No,
it's not like that anymore. And then if they do that for 3 months, you think, we're going to put you in the next league up now. Yeah.
We'll put it this way: the two teams that came out of the National League into the League 2 both got it for 5.
They found out what the
real
Saturday
world's like. So
bit of a wake up for Wrexham, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? I mean,
they're missing the goal.
Whether you're into this or not, but the XG favoured Wrexham massively.
Did it?
Yeah.
I never saw the game; just saw the result.
No, I know.
And the sequence of goals.
Yeah. I think that's the difference, though. Last year they had the forwards, and the defenders are all seem rubbish in that league. Whereas League 2, you're mixing with they'll go and buy a few players in the next couple of weeks, won't they? Let's be honest. Yeah, you've got to find the level for these players, haven't you? That's the difficult part, and know when exactly to send them. When's the right time? I don't know exactly. I don't think Sheriff's near. Okaranku maybe, but I don't think Sheriff's quite there yet at the moment. Everton Vikings says, I'm not worried about the style of play other than Garner at right wing, which is just a massive no and waste for me. The squad depth is a big worry. But who would have played right wing on Saturday if it hadn't been James Garner? That was the problem, isn't it? This is what we're talking about, the squad.
We were talking last week, weren't they're all lefties.
Yeah. But that's it. They're all left wingers. And we had no Dan Juma. Awobi had to swap sides.
Left.
You know, you've got no McNeil. So you've got so it was like going back to the Moyes days, wasn't it? It was just
left footers were supposed to be rare.
Yeah.
It's like we decided we must have a left footer, and that's all we've acquired for a while.
James Warland said, "What's the point in stewards coming out and laying on the grass with 5 minutes to go, only to have be had off by 2 9-year-olds?
Yes,
happening too often at Goodison.
They were fast though.
Don't want to be banning kids going the game, but needs to be punishment for them. Yeah. But there wasn't even a punishment for them. Andre Gomez escorted them and gave him his shirt. Nice one.
He actually said, "Well done, do it again."
Well done, yeah. Thanks.
Do it again.
Glenn Watson says, "John means business blame. Only question: does the transfer deadline window help Everton or harm Everton? I.e., will we get more players before the deadline day or on deadline day?"
Don't know. It's not a business thing.
It's not a business question, is it?
No, there's no business benefit or detriment of doing it today or on the last day, other than obviously paying someone's wages for a couple of weeks, but I can't think that's hugely material. No. Although you might say we suddenly went and got some extraordinary player who was on 100 grand a week, then we'd save 300 grand if we got him on the last day rather than now. But no, there's no advantage or disadvantage in the grand scheme of things.
I think that last week could be mad though.
Well, we said, didn't we? Yeah. Sky will be loving it.
Yeah.
They'll be getting all the yellow ties out, won't they? You know, they're gone for that casual thing of no ties, and now they'll be getting them all out again. Yeah.
Well, we had a guest in last week.
Hope it doesn't rain, Vinny. Yeah.
We had a guest in last week who basically told us how the whole transfer deadline day started and why Sky, why it exploded.
He told us the day it was invented.
He told us the day it was invented, and that interview will be coming out soon. When the second part, or maybe the third part is filmed.
Yeah. It's going to be content rich films, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or will be.
Matt Symes says, "I'm worried for this season because we haven't adapted to the changing game. 5 subs in 100-minute games means you're going to lose matches to clubs that can bring on meaningful player changes." And that's it, isn't it?
You're going to lose games to clubs who use their subs, because we don't. Yeah. Again, we've had this chat, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, an inexperienced young player who's running around and very, very fit versus leaving on a guy who's just played 93 minutes. You know, which one are you going to go with? Well, our manager tends to go with the guy who's been on for 93 minutes, and Brighton's, Brentford's and the like bring on the whippet who's going to run you ragged for those 10 minutes.
Well, maybe that's why he's kept hold of Lewis Dobbin.
Could be, yeah.
For that reason,
that's exactly where Lewis will come into play, isn't it, near the end of a game? Yeah.
I mean, again, watching him on Saturday, he's got to develop his game and get a bit more of an end product. He tends to get hold of the ball and then not really have an idea.
I'm going that way.
Yeah, he doesn't really have an idea at the moment what he wants to do. That's where he needs to develop his game. No, but you're absolutely right.
His pace will frighten anyone.
It will, but if he uses it the right way. But you're right, Matt. And that's, again, coming back to what I was saying about the timekeeping.
Matt.
That's what I don't like about this timekeeping system, is the idea that a manager could make a change on the 75th minute. What does he know is left in the game? Are they keeping them updated? You know,
I think they do talk and say how much.
I imagine, but
you're right. He might say, "I've got a player coming back from injury. I'm going to give him the last 15 minutes." Slings him on after 75, and then it comes up 15 minutes later. There's 12 minutes left.
Exactly, and tactically as well. You mentioned before about, like, say, bringing Keane on. It's like, when do you know when to make that sub? Because sometimes we know if you make a tactical change, which is obviously that defensive one, if you make that too early and then the momentum switches in a game and you're defending defending, then to be honest, I didn't really watch it yesterday, but I switched over on the Community Shield.
I didn't see it.
That sort of looked like that had happened. Arsenal scored in the 100th minute, but it looked like City had gone, but we're winning 1-0. We'll just sort of, not switch off. We're happy to defend here. But it was 7 minutes added.
Yeah.
And it ended up being 10 minutes.
Was it 11 minutes into added time, they equalised?
So it was like, City had set up to say, we'll sort this. And they got through the
We'll
7
play out
minutes,
the few minutes.
and they scored with a deflection and they end up losing. I know it doesn't mean anything, but you can imagine there'll be games like that this season. It's honestly, there's going to be lots of question marks about that this season. The time is going to be a big moment.
Yeah, I think some clubs, certainly the so-called smaller ones, i.e. smaller in squads and stuff, benefited last season, didn't they, from the World Cup, in the sense that both A, they got a break, and B, their players didn't go to the World Cup. So a lot of those squads are going to be shallower as well. And one thing that we've always had an advantage with is we have had some depth. But as we've shipped out all those who weren't getting minutes and those who come to end of contracts and all that good stuff, we find ourselves probably short on numbers as well as quality.
Mentally, that board going up and saying 10 minutes, the manager's got to make subs, hasn't he? He's got to. And you can imagine teams might be we'll wait for the 85th minute and then we'll bring on...
See how long's left.
We'll bring on 3 players because we know...
We had that last season against us when clubs did it, And we fingertips hanging on then, aren't we? Because our manager doesn't want to make those changes.
And that's the problem with the squad size we've got. You only have to get a couple of injuries, and you are already against it. And we've already got those injuries, so they're going to have to bolster this squad in the next couple of weeks. James says, afternoon, hope all is well with a few days until the new season. Are you worried for the game on Saturday? As we all know, an important 3-point ticket this season off will do the world of good. Just sat here having a beer on the waterfront on the Amalfi Coast.
So that preamble was just so he could...
Yeah, it is, basically. and the Blues are still on my mind. What a place to be, the Amalfi Coast.
Yeah, nice view.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice.
Cold beer.
I haven't even started thinking about Saturday. I haven't even started.
Day before.
Yeah.
My missus' a bottle will go about Thursday onwards, but no.
Yeah. No, I haven't even thought about it as such yet. I always think the first game of the season is just
where are we at?
I think now you get to 6, 7, 8 games into the season and everyone's still all over the place for me. So the first game, we're at home. Fulham have had a bit of a topsy-turvy summer. Mitrovic throwing his toys out.
What have they done since that tournament, do you know?
The one in America?
Yeah, because they had a bit like Arsenal and the others who were there. They had quite an intense thing, but that was like 3 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they'd have had to come off that, otherwise they'd get in a bit of a mess. So could be.
They've had problems, and they've had Mitrovic, the manager.
Both like money.
They've both
still
looks
here.
like they're staying, but Mitrovic, I imagine, will still be trying to push to get a move if the money's still on the table. They've had, We'll talk more about that during the week. KSI says, how are we about to start the season with Mopai up front? How many years is it since we had competition for places up front, dear Lord? That's the worrying thing, isn't it? That's the worrying thing. Paul Power says, lads, do you think it's
the
possibility we get Richarlison back on loan this season? It's a long stretch, but it seems like he misses the club. I can't imagine it. I just can't imagine it.
Ditto.
And I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the Harry Kane situation? They've turned the phones off, haven't they?
Have they?
They've just pulled all the phones out the wall. Gary Ward says 100% agree. Having the refs mic'd up is great. No, it's been good. It's been good, I think, for the World Cup. So far, keeps and they'll probably use that, I imagine, in the Euros in the summer, or because they've tested it out. It seems to have worked, and now they can use it. They'll use it in the men's game, I imagine. Martin says, watching live on the east coast of Newfoundland. Nothing between here and Liverpool but sea and island. Toffee TV just keeps getting better. We can't say that about the team. Newfoundland, lovely. Right by Labrador. That's the place, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, place called Labrador. You always fly out. Don't you ever look when you're flying into America and you go past Greenland and then you fly down the coast and you go past Newfoundland, Labrador, and then into
New England.
New England, yeah. Harry says, did you see the Portuguese fan who tried to sit in the nice seat and wouldn't stop shouting? Yeah, I did see him actually. So it was a fella, and he was with a young lady, Portuguese, and if he just sat there and said nothing right, he would have been he was sitting in the director's box, would have been fine. And then as soon as the game kicked off, Sporting, and like he's up and down, like, and then in the end, the steward for came over and just sat next to him and just went, "Can I have a look at your ticket?" And he went, "You were up there, mate." I don't know how it got down there, but I just thought you'd kept your mouth shut.
I thought it was off, that the whole area was empty.
Mm.
And the same in the park end.
Yeah.
That, I don't get that.
Yeah.
But
it was a bit strange. Like, it was a bit strange that he managed to sit there, but then decided he was going to sing his head off. Yeah. I was in the press. That's why I was in the main stand.
Was everyone there as well? Who turned up? Who turns up from the press for pre-season friendlies like that? You?
Wasn't many.
What about the Athletic? Are they there?
I didn't see Paddy.
The Echo?
Yeah, Joe was there and Connor.
Any of the Nationals? No.
Paul Joyce.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Paul Joyce was there. They get to speak to the manager, don't they?
Yeah.
Paul Joyce, Alan Myers, loads of Portuguese.
Yeah.
Loads of Portuguese.
Well, they have sport papers, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. That was it, to be honest. From like,
Cool.
So.
They were my team when I lived there, if there's such a thing.
Yeah.
Because the other shout,
well,
Benfica playing red, you see.
You got to follow someone, haven't you? Yeah. Jack said, wish we'd signed Harvey Barnes. We could have got him, in my opinion. We couldn't have. He was £39 million. We couldn't have got him at all. I watched Newcastle obliterate Villarreal yesterday, and Barnes was sensational, scored 2 goals. We could have got him. We couldn't have got him. 39. What? 39 million.
Do you think he might want to play in the Champions League?
Yeah. Like, that's real money, 39 real money. No, come on. We haven't spent a penny yet, and when we buy this kid, we're going to be paying about £1 million up front. Harrison says Ben Godfrey can't play against Fulham. His positioning is awful. He'll get wrong-sided loads on Saturday. See what I said.
That's where the pace comes in.
That's that's up to the manager, isn't he? The manager. If the manager's maybe got faith in Godfrey, Branthwaite, it'll be fitness as well. Don't forget, he's only played 2 45s and the other game against Monza, so it'll be fitness that. Lucky Panthers really need Dwight fit. Hope he's okay. Top play. He's not going to be okay. He's going to be out for probably the first 2 games, if not the first 3 games.
Yeah. And if they go course, it'll be post-international break, won't it?
Yeah. School of Science TV says, afternoon guys, do you think we should go do a back 3 with wing backs or a simple back 4?
4.
I'd go 4. But it depends, doesn't it? It depends on what we've got ahead of them. If we haven't got any natural width on the right hand side, then we could maybe get away with playing Patterson there, or
as a wing back, you mean?
Yeah, or playing Patterson as the right side of centre back and having James Garner there. It depends, but
so Tark, Godfrey, and Branthwaite. Is that what the guy's thinking?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Which
it
often
depends.
becomes 5 at the back.
It does. That's the problem, isn't it? It does become 5. It depends what game who we're playing against as well.
Well, we're playing Fulham, mate.
I don't know. I think he means in general. I wouldn't.
Not in general. I wouldn't do it per game.
I wouldn't do it Fulham.
No.
Because I think that's a game we can win.
That's right.
But it depends if we've got the players. Paul G says Godfrey is 4th choice. Is shocking.
No, Michael Keane's 4th choice.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think anyway.
Yeah. The Blues says the only consistency Keane has is he's consistently fit. Otherwise, he's the most inconsistent footballer I've ever seen. Definitely. David Gordon says too much made of the goal conceded versus Brentford. Holgate clearly didn't offer any cover it in a 2-on-1, and Pickford also could have done more with switched on. I don't think there is too much to be made about the goal against Brentford. He wasn't switched on to Ivan Toney, and then he brought him down. That's a learning experience. You are allowed to say like things about people, He shouldn't have got sent off. He shouldn't have, like, it's a learning experience. He will have learned lots from that. He will have learned a lot from that moment. Then you can say that is allowed. It's not being negative. It's just saying in that moment he got done in a 1-on-1 versus Ivan Toney, which he shouldn't have put himself in that situation, and he ends up getting sent off, and we end up losing the game. It was actually a very big moment in the football match. He's got to learn from that, and hopefully he has gone away, gone on loan, and that's fine. Let's have a look. Thomas Jones is in Vancouver when we haven't signed anyone yet. Chermiti looks like he's going to have his medical this week, hopefully next couple of days.
You would hope so.
Hopefully get him in ahead of the game.
20-10 on Friday, they can announce it. At night, I mean.
I'll be honest, I'd rather it was announced, say, Wednesday. And
I know, that's what they're like.
Yeah. The Blues says Onana will carry the ball when the opportunity comes, but he's not going to do that all the time. He's not a winger or attacking midfielder. You don't have to be attacking midfielder.
Step up into the
carry
space.
The ball.
Yeah.
Patrick Vieira wasn't an attacking midfielder, but he carried the ball better than anybody in midfield. We like to pigeonhole players, don't we? They play in a 6, or they play in a 8, or they play in a 10. Or good footballers can do quite a lot. It's the moments they choose to do it. I think is more important.
See the space, step into it.
Yeah. If you've got the ball and the space ahead of you,
step into it.
Get in the space.
Every player should do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Fabian says top 10 this season. Believe it now. So, mate, if that's what you believe.
Well, some people think Villa are going to be in the top 4, so come on.
Bikeface says Poolside and Bella Medina listening. Nice.
Oh, they're all rubbing it in now, aren't they?
Do you know what? It doesn't bother me one bit. Alan says hello from Mallorca.
I'm just jealous. I'm looking out that window and it's miserable out here.
Me one bit.
It'll stop raining though.
Fabian is in Kansas City. I don't get jealous of people on holiday. It's just never been my thing. Just if that's good. You've worked hard and you're.
I'm not jealous of them. Just jealous I'm not there.
It's one thing I don't get is jealous.
I'm going to my house in the winter, so that'll be all right, won't it?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Where me spoons should have rolling subs.
Interchanges.
It would not surprise me if that's something. I genuinely would not surprise me.
Interchanges.
If that came up soon. If that's because again.
Why'd you have to stop the game to make a sub?
I think Gary Neville mentioned this on rules he'd like to see changed in football, and one of it he said was, "Have roll on subs did soon. If the game just continued, people would soon get onto the pitch.
Yeah.
If you just said, say it was the ball was dead and that was your opportunity, then the minute the ref goes like that, you've got him. The fella has to go to the nearest side.
Well, why even have the ref call him on?
No, I'm just saying to just basically say that's it's I'm allowing it like he does for when a player goes off injured or whatever.
But again, rugby league do it all the time, don't they?
I know, but rugby league is a different sport, isn't it? Because the ball can be way over there and it's not going to come over here anytime soon.
I just think with a bit of commitment, they could be.
No, they'll find a solution.
They could eliminate that.
I don't think
drudge of waiting for a fella to walk.
No, it doesn't need all. It's
because refs don't even enforce get off the nearest touchline.
When you think about it, it's like pomp and ceremony, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's board up, board down. Yeah. It is. It's all like.
And refs don't enforce to go to the nearest touchline.
It doesn't need to happen. It could just be.
It's done. That's what that fourth official, instead of putting the board up and down, he can just say to the ref, number 6 and number 7 of blue are swapping over. Yeah, okay, go for it.
Yeah. I think that'll be something that does happen in the next couple of years, or that'll be one of the things.
And they've got all the because of all the particularly when they do the automated offside thing, because they'll know where every single player is. The little light will come on and say there's 13 players on for that side. Stop the game, or whatever.
Honestly, I mean, it'll happen. I think.
Yeah, it should. So we've eliminated added time for substitutions. Just need to eliminate added time for goals or something. Yeah.
You can't celebrate. They can celebrate.
The team who've
off.
Yeah, the team who've conceded can kick off whenever they're ready. That sorts out the team who've just scored.
To be honest, that's the one thing I don't want to see.
I think that'd be great fun. That'd be great fun.
That's one thing I don't want to see taken out of football is people should be allowed to celebrate. That is, otherwise it would become the most robotic game, wouldn't it?
I just think it'd be funny if they're all down one end celebrating when the other team's going up the other end and scoring.
Yeah.
Only if it was us, of course. Yeah.
Let's have a look here. Harrison says we won't be moaning if we start scoring these late goals. Well, but that's fine.
You need to distill this down. You just want to know.
Yeah.
During the game, how long is left? Not wait till you get to 90 and then get told there's 10 more minutes. There's going
to be 10 more minutes in games now at least. The most maybe now. All I want to know is, all I'm saying is, just put it in the game. Don't give us 10 extra minutes on the 90th minute when we're all sitting there, we're clinging onto a 1-0. Players have run through brick walls for you. The manager's already, not our manager, has already brought on his subs, and you've got that 10 minutes.
Would you have a timekeeper? Take the timekeeping away from the referee and have done by somebody else. Obviously, a qualified referee.
I suppose if you've got the exact reasons for of what added on time is.
A goal scored.
See, when the ball goes out for a throw or a corner or whatever, that to me is not added on time.
No, ditto. I agree.
It's not added on time. That's just natural. That's just natural. It's time. It should be time wasting, which the referee signals.
Yeah.
It should be subs. And I actually don't include goal celebrations either. I'll be honest, I wouldn't include, but they will. And then
I do.
And then you just add that on, and as I said, the clock just stops, and then it restarts, and that's it. This is my thing. I just think it's just the worst thing in the world. Oh, you watchers.
Yeah, I do Fergie time.
No, I do it myself, but I don't do it during the game. I do it at the end of the game, obviously. But
no, I do it during the game.
During the game. No,
so I stop my watch when I would stop it.
Yeah.
Right, if I was the ref.
Yeah.
So as soon as a goal's scored, I stop it.
Okay.
And then when the ref blows to start the game again, I start it again. As soon as the ref stops the game for a substitution, I stop my watch, and so on. I don't stop my watch when there's an injury until the physio comes on, because I think the ref's saying, are you really, what have you. And then that last game of the season, the second half, my watch said 45 minutes and 24 seconds. So consistently, what I think is what the refs are doing. So share it with us all, which is your point.
Yeah.
Share it all with us,
It's what was the thing they said the other day? That the clocks are, I think this was the EFL, I don't know what the Premier League going to say this week.
They're letting it run, aren't
they?
The
clocks will just continue to run.
Yeah.
Well, how does that open? It doesn't open anyone.
Well, it just means people in the stadium.
Yeah, we'll understand how long's left. I get that, but
they're still going to have to say there's 10 minutes added, so it's when it's 100, that's when it should finish. Yeah.
And then I like what happened yesterday, as I said in the Community Shield, was because there was 7 minutes. Then that's time.
That's a lot of time for things to happen to add time on.
More time. Come on, stupid.
So what we're going to find then, aren't we, is things which the referee has added on to make it 7 minutes added time. He's not going to add on if they happen during the 7 minutes, or other referees will. Yeah. Because I've used my Fergie time for years, right? I've got examples where I'm 5 minutes out.
Yeah.
Because clearly I stop my watch and the ref doesn't.
Yeah.
So referees are inconsistent. But if it's all up on a screen and we can all see it. Yeah.
Chris says, so Dobbin was Brighton 2 friendlies, so has Dyche binned him? No. He's come off the bench on Saturday.
Yeah, he came on.
And looks like he's going to be...
nothing.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be part of the squad, certainly.
It looks like, doesn't it?
Certainly for the next 3 weeks, anyway.
Yeah.
Certainly for the next 3 weeks. And then maybe Everton will will obviously make a decision based on who they can bring in. When Chermiti comes in, I imagine Tom Cannon's going to go out. And then if Everton can get a winger on, which the talk is they're trying to get a winger, and then maybe Dobbin will go then. Be interesting to see. Will be interesting.
Who's that fella I saw this morning briefly? Somebody saying we were the club who made a bid for somebody.
Oh, I don't know.
Some guy, some sports journalist in Europe who's
No.
300.
It was a centre back, wasn't it?
Centre back, was it? All right,
centre
okay.
back. Probably nonsense.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to go over to London Again transfer show to talk about all the latest transfers. There's loads. None of them include Everton. So
Shame.
So make sure you check it out. There's going to be a link at the end of this video. Just come and join us. Just click that. Come and join us. We'll be going starting in about 5 minutes. So we'll see you over there. See you later.